Hi everyone, I'm Molly here at Cornerstone Resources. I'm the HR administrator. I'm also a Cornerstone certified Breathe Geek. I love the system, I think it's really easy to use, and I truly believe it will make your life easier if you use it to its full potential. So today I'm going to bring you some features that I believe are often overlooked, forgotten about, you may not even know it. So here's what we're going to cover today. We'll cover things such as the calendar sync, document tools, sickness triggers. We'll also go over the additional modules that Breathe has, and I will show you how to put it all in practice at the end. Now, my aim today is simple. I want you to walk away and think, that's a bit of a game changer. That is what I want you to walk away with today. So firstly, I want to show you how you can sync Breathe with your calendar. Integrating them both, it's a quick win and it'll make a big difference. So it gives you one reliable view of your team's availability. So it'll help you stay on top of things like annual leave, one-to-ones, sickness. All it is, you copy a link and you put it in your Microsoft Exchange or your Google account. I'll show you how to get that at the end. It allows you to look in one place. Now that's what Breathe is really good at, looking in one place. So I personally think it's a small little thing which will make a big difference. So secondly, I want to go over tracking policy engagement. Now, it's a simple way to make sure that people are engaging with the information they need, whether they're new starters or long-standing team members, it doesn't matter. You're going to have a place to store your policies, your handbooks, and then individually, you've got a place to store contracts, letters, anything that relates to a specific employee. Now, I'm sure you've had it before where you've spent ages drafting policies, then compiling them, then sending them out to your team, and then a few weeks later, you'll hear someone go, I've not seen that. Where do we keep those? You don't have to do that anymore. It will all be put on Breathe. People will get a notification to say you've got a document that you must read. And then if you've got a read required on, it says you must read this document by this date. Once that's done, they will then receive emails from Breathe saying you haven't read this document, you need to log in and read it. And then once that's done, you'll be able to run a report to see who's read it, who hasn't. It allows you to know who you need to chase rather than going towards a whole team where 99% of them have read it. You can go to that one employee and say, I've noticed you haven't read this document. Can you give it a read? So it just really simplifies that process and it's really great for demonstrating due diligence during audits. It also shows that if an investigation were to take place, you can see if the person has read the policy. So this is a new feature and it caused a lot of excitement in Cornerstone. As soon as it got announced, we were all going, have you seen that Breathe does this now? It was honestly probably the saddest thing you've ever seen, but it was funny. Anyway, this new feature, it means that you can request signatures on documents on Breathe. So rather than having to download the document, upload it to an external signature app, company, whatever, then get the signed copy, download it, put it back on. You don't have to do that. You put it straight on Breathe, and you can even add counter signatures. So if a person needs their line manager to sign something or the organisation lead, you can add them on there as well. And if that wasn't exciting enough, you also don't have to chase for signatures. Breathe will send out automated emails to the employee when they haven't signed it. So the ideal use cases are employment contracts, confidentiality and NDAs, policy acknowledgements, and training completion certificates. You can send them all on Breathe, get the signatures back on Breathe, and it's just saved there. Then you don't have to, once you've sent it, really, you don't have to do anything. Next, I want to tell you about controlling holiday booking periods. Now, you can add blackout periods for your busiest time of year. You can identify your critical periods, mark your peak trading seasons, year-end closure, product launches, or any major events, and you can add them as a blackout period. Now, what that means is the system will automatically block leave requests during that time. It means you don't have to do the manual check-in, you don't have to have any awkward conversations. It's done, and also it's really clear to employees. They will go on the calendar and see you cannot block time here. What you can also do, say you've got your busy periods, you've set them out in the calendar, but other than that, you're pretty lax when employees want to book holidays. You can add holiday approval automation. So if they book holidays outside of that blackout period, they'll just automatically be approved and you don't have to do anything with it. Now, that won't be useful for everyone, but I do think it's quite a cool feature and it does reduce that admin. So next we've got automating HR processes with workflows and tasks. Now, I've done quite a lot of work on this recently, and it was actually what kicked off the idea of having an optimization webinar because we didn't even really know that we knew that it existed, but we didn't know the bounds of what it could do. But those bounds are endless. You could have anything. I've put in some examples like onboarding, offboarding, reviews, compliance, but you could even have things like sickness absences. So, for example, if you've had a line manager who has recently come into post, you could have a workflow for sickness absences, which they would then follow if one of their team members is off sick. You can make it align with your organisation and values, but it gives them that step-by-step guide for the first few that they do. The workflows can be manual or they can be automatic. So if they're automatic, you'd set it up and it will be automatically assigned on the day that someone starts. So for example, if we're talking about the onboarding workflow, it could be things like speak to HR and understand your role will be automatically sent to them on the day that they start. Then more tasks will come on the days that you've set. So it could be a week after, it could be a month after, it can be any time up to 60 days. But you could also do manual ones. So again, for example, if you were to do a maternity leave workflow, you could assign that to an employee once they've told you that they're expecting, but you've got it there then. And it allows for standardized procedures throughout their time before they go off on maternity leave. So things like create a handover document, ensure that medical appointments are given to your line manager, that kind of thing. Obviously, for cases like maternity, it won't always be that cut and dry. There are a lot of cases where it won't be cut and dry, but it does give you that general framework to work with. And it's, like I said, it's standardized across your whole organization. Next, we've got customizing drop downs to fit your organization. This is something that I think people won't even know that you can do. But for example, we had a client who wanted to gift a few days of annual leave over Christmas, but they didn't know how to do that because they didn't want it taken from people's entitlement. They didn't want it going down as unpaid leave or other because it meant reporting would be a hassle. What you can do is if you go into settings, pick lists, you can create leave options, for example. You can, so I set up one that said gifted Christmas annual leave. Employees are then able to book that in. So it shows that no one's in, but it's not taking their entitlement. And then when they're running a report, it will come up saying gifted Christmas leave. All employees have taken 2 days or something like that. It just means that reporting will be better for you. It's improved accuracy. You can customize them by departments. You can customize job titles. You can customize leave reasons, like I've just said. It's a really low level thing that I truly believe will make a difference in reporting, in standardized procedures, anything like that. The next thing, it is just a little feature. You might be aware of it. It is strengthening your system security. So it's enabling two-factor authentication. It is the same as all two-factor authentication. It's a commonly used feature, but Breathe does have it as well. And just wanted to bring that to your attention. So next is your personalised absence alerts and your sickness triggers. I truly believe that this is a game changer. It helps you move from reactive to proactive absence management. You can set thresholds and get alerts when someone hits them. That way you can step in early and offer support. So what you do, you define your triggers. So you set custom thresholds, such as 3 absences in 6 months or a total of days, which then exceeds the limit. You'll then get automatic alerts. You'll receive notifications the moment an employee reaches the trigger point. Next, you can then take action. You can use those trigger points as prompts for return to work interviews, occupational health referrals, or support discussions. You can also then run reports on the type of sickness. So, for example, people are getting colds in the winter. What can we do to help that? Or a specific department or team is off due to mental health. Are they getting enough support? Is there too much work? Like I said, it allows you to move from reactive to proactive. So you've got your fair and transparent absence monitoring as well. Employees can see that. It gives them timely access to support services and a clear understanding of what your expectations are. And then benefits for you guys is that you've got, like I said, the early identification of potential well-being issues and the reduced burden. You don't need to keep checking. You will be alerted as soon as. Next, I wanted to draw your attention to the additional modules that Breathe offers. Now, I do want to clarify, first of all, that these modules do come at an additional cost. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not going to sit here and say, buy this, buy them all. It'll be great. You might not use them. But I do want to highlight them because if you do use the features in other platforms, it may be more cost effective and more efficient to use them on Breathe. So, for example, the new features on Breathe Learn, they ensure compliance like any other learning platform, but the fact that it's all in one place, you can send reminders, it allows you to run reports and check progress. It could be beneficial to you. Again, this is not me selling these to you. That's not my aim. My aim is, however, to support you in getting the most out of your system. So if you think that it'll be worthwhile for you, it's absolutely worth a check. The rota time and attendance module, I use that all the time with a few clients. It's great. It's really easy to use. But if you don't use rotas, it's not worth it to you. Expenses, if you do allow expenses in your organization, maybe worth getting the module. This is just me drawing your attention to what Breathe can do additionally. And finally, from me, before I show you how to put all of this in practice, we have a utilisation checklist. So this is a tool I created and it's great for identifying areas to improve and make sure that you're getting the most out of the system. At the end of the day, to be completely candid, you pay for this system. I want to make sure that you're getting the best it can offer. There's no point in paying for something if you're just going to use it for leave. So what you can look at is your core HR management. Are you fully leveraging employee records, holiday management, and absence tracking? Your performance and development. Are you setting objectives? Are you tracking training logs and fostering growth? Your reporting and insights. You can unlock advanced reporting and customizable dashboards to gain more insights. If that is of an interest to you, please feel free to email me and we'll send you a copy. It's not an additional cost. I just want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the system. So before I go into the tutorial of how to do what I've told you about today, I do want to clarify that this account is a demo account. There is no employee information in here that is real. It was all built just to show you new features, as with all my demos and webinars. So the first thing we did was syncing calendars. If you scroll down to configure and click settings, down in the bottom right, you will see integrations when it decides to load. You'll see integrations here. All you do is click calendar subscriptions and copy the link it gives you. Now you'll paste that into your Microsoft Exchange server or your Google Apps account. And as you can see, I've set up two different kind of profiles here. This is all employees and this is just food and beverage. So if you were to click add, that's a new custom calendar, you can do it by department. So for example, we'll put human resources and create calendar subscription. What that will do is create another link for you to copy here, and it works in the exact same way. Next is how to track policies. So if you go to company, then company documents, you will see here that I've uploaded just a fake kind of profile policy for you to see. Now, if you were to click into that, you will see that currently no one has read the document. It allows you to say if they've read it and when they read it. I've also added a red deadline here, so I added it for tomorrow. All employees will receive an email to say you've got a document that needs reading by tomorrow. Then again on the deadline, and then after it, it will say you've got a document that you haven't reviewed and it's past the deadline. If you wanted to add one yourself, you'd just go again to company documents. You'd click add, add your title, put your document in, select an audience. So this can be based on your team, it can be based on a role. You can break it up however you want, really, different divisions. And then you've got here your red requirements. Do they need to read it? No or yes. If they need to read it, when do they need to read it by? What you can also do is add a review date. Now, what that means is if you've done a handbook that needs reviewing in 2 years, you can pop it on the system and then add a date for it to be reviewed. That means that all HR will get an email to say you've got a document that needs reviewing. Next, collecting signatures. This is, again, this was the most exciting part of our week, probably last week. If you go into an employee's profile, I'll just go onto my profile here so you can see. You go more, documents, and then add. Now, when you press add, you'll see it says, is a signature required? So you put yes and submit. And then it will bring up the normal title, add a document. It must be a PDF for signatures. It can't be a Word document. You can also add, like I said, a counter signature required. So this could be a line manager, it can be the organisation lead, and you can also add messages to each individual signer. So for example, to myself, you might put, this is your employee contract, and to the co-signer, you might put, this is your team member's new, so it just breaks it down. And again, it's all in one place. So once you've put it on there, you don't need to then download a signed version and upload it. It's just there signed. Next, we've got the holiday blackouts. So again, this is in your settings. If you go to configure and settings, you've got company blackouts here. Now, what that means is that you can put a date on. So you put here, add, and you put why. So for example, busy season for 2 weeks, you can't take leave, start date and end date. And if it's for the whole company or if it's just for specific departments, you can put that in. And what that means is that if someone goes to book leave, it will say you can't because there's a company blackout. It's just very clear to the employees that way. Now we've got your workflows and tasks. This is in company workflows. Now, the conversation I've had before is that workflows are made up of multiple tasks. Your tasks go to the employee profile. So for example, here we've got your onboarding and offboarding. So if we were to go onto this, this is your onboarding, and we activated the workflow. For example, this ensure IT and other systems have been set up, that will be assigned to HR 7 days before the employee's join date. Then you've got induction tools, software and processes assigned to the employee's line manager on the join date. End of first week check assigned to the line manager. They will all get these tasks on their profile and they'll get an email to say you've got a task. So it just allows for standardized processes when onboarding, when offboarding, when doing sickness procedures, anything like that. It's just standardized, which is really good. Next is your customize drop downs. So again, configure settings, and you'll see an option that says pick lists. You go into that, and this is all the pick lists that Breathe use. As you can see, there's so many. You've got your details. It can be anything from EDI to your pronouns to training, any different departments, sickness types. So for example, if we were to use my example of the gifted holiday, we'd go on to other leave reasons. Now, these are all the leave options that are available when an employee is booking leave. So if they add a leave, click other, this is a list that will come up. So you can say, for example, if you don't have any leave on here that you don't do, you can delete them. But what you can also do is add one. So again, you just click the add button, add the name, for example, birthday. Some employers like to give the birthdays off. You can add that leave reason and it means it won't come off someone's allowance. Next is your two-factor authentication. Again, configure, settings. A lot of what I'm showing you will be in the settings, which is why I feel they're often overlooked. You'd go to security, two-factor authentication, and you need to enable two-factor authentication. You can do it for everyone. You can do it for HR users, line managers, or finance users. I like that it breaks it down. If you don't feel the need to have everyone on two-factor authentication, you can do it just for the HR users who have access to everyone. You can just break it down like that, and I like that. And then finally, which I believe, like I said, I think it's a game changer, you go to configure settings, and this is where you'll be able to do your personalized absence alerts. So if you see here, it says absence settings, you go into your sickness triggers, and this is where you've got your rules. So like I said, you can do the Bradford factor, you can do the days, or you can do sickness instances. So I'll do days for now, just to show you. You click into it, you'd click add, and what you'd put is 5 days off over 12 months. I want to notify all HR users, and I just create that. And what that means is that as soon as someone on the 10th month has their 5th day off, all HR users will get notification to say this person has hit a trigger. It allows you to get in there. Now, what you could also do, for example, you could add a sickness trigger that it's not leading to anything. You don't need to have a meeting, but it makes you aware of it. So you could say, for example, oh, we allow 6 days off in a year. By the 5th day, I want to be notified that someone is on their fifth day of the year. And it's just makes it clear to you where things are headed. If you need to step in before it gets to an issue, it allows you to do that. So that was everything we taught through today. As I said, if you have any questions, if you're interested in how Breathe can work for you, just email me. My email is mollie, mollie, at cornerstoneresources.co.uk. I'm always happy to help. And again, I truly believe Breathe should work for you. So in regards to the additional modules, you can check those out yourself, see if any work for you, and just have a look at the things I've gone over today. Would it make your life easier? If so, do it. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. I've been a bit rambly, but thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.